What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. So today I have quite a few things to process. I'm just going to see how much I can get through today, but I wanted to share with you guys some of the prep that I do before I start canning. You just seen me put my jars in the oven. I recently picked that tip up when I was looking around online, and so the last time I did a round of canning, you guys were with me and you seen that I busted one of the jars. And so to avoid that, I am keeping my jars in the oven to like keep them sterilized, number one, but then also to keep them warm until the contents are ready to go in. That way I can put them directly into the canner. We have our canning pot, warming up the water, heating that up. So first, let me show you. So I promised you guys that I will keep you updated on the hot sauce that we are fermenting, and today is the day. You can see it is good and cloudy down there. Lots and lots of microbes. Hopefully this is a good ferment. I didn't see just a ton of bubbles. Well, I guess there's some, but I'm a little concerned about this cloudiness at the bottom. So we're gonna look online, see what that says, and as long as it's all good, we are going to get this blended into some hot sauce. All right, so let's go to good old Google. I want to say, let me see, when did I start this ferment? Look at my calendar here. Ooh, this has been going a while, you guys. So 1 week would have been the 3rd of September, and it is currently the 14th. Do not judge my life. Time just got a hold of me, obviously. So I don't know. Would this be good still? We about to find out, child. Ooh. Yikes. Okay, so let's Google real quick. So how long is too long on a ferment? Okay. All right, so as long as you want, you can let your vegetables and sauerkraut ferment for several weeks, months, or days. It depends on the temperature, salt, and your personal preference. Experiment with your own ferments and you'll find what process suits you best. Okay, all right, so we got that out of the way. How long is too long? So apparently there's no limit to how long you can ferment. It's just personal preference. Now let's see, is cloudiness okay? All right, so a cloudy brine and sediment in the bottom of the jar are both signs that the vegetables are culturing well. Okay, so we are safe. All right. Woo! I thought I just messed up the whole thing. So let's go ahead and move forward on this first. And I think I want to add some like fresh veggies in as well. We'll just see how it goes. We're going to taste as we go. All right, so the first thing that I need to do is to strain the contents from the liquid. Pull this weight out. It actually smells really good. All right. Okay, and we have a pink liquid because we used purple or red onions, but I think that should be actually really pretty. So let's just set that to the side because we will be going back for more of that. Let me get a spoon. This will work. All right. I'm just going to start off with this, and once I get some blended down, we'll have to do a second round, but that's totally fine. And actually, let's go ahead and add a little bit of the liquid just to make this an easy blend. All right, so I just decided that I might need more space, so I went on ahead and grabbed the other container for my blender. But I like using this because it gives me the extract option, and I can't remember whether or not this does, so this is what I'm going with. Bust this baby open, and then I am just gonna dump it over here. All right, so let's go ahead and put the rest of our contents in. It smells so good. Alright, so I got everything transferred over into our bigger blender. So now we need to check for taste. As of right now, all we have is the brine and the contents of the ferment. So let's see what we need to add. Oh, Jesus. That's spicy. Surprisingly enough, I feel like I need more salt. Yeah. Maybe some salt. Maybe either a little bit of sugar. I know I need to add some apple cider vinegar, so let's do that now. I think I'm gonna start with 2 tablespoons and see where we are. Yeah, I got way more kick to it than the last hot sauce that we made. So let's just see how we can balance the flavors out a little bit. Because with the last one, we had the mango and everything going on. So, ooh, brown sugar. So let's go ahead and put roughly about a tablespoon of brown sugar into there. Give this another blend and taste. Oh, there we go. See, this container doesn't give you the extract option, but a smoothie is fine. Okay, I went on ahead, cleaned my spoon off. So let's give this another taste. Now it's more vinegar based, which I'm not mad at. But I do feel like the sweetness is balanced out a lot more. And after adding that, I actually don't feel like I need any more salt. Oh, yeah, that's got some kick to it on the back end. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it here. I thought about maybe adding in like some tomato paste or something like that just to get a different flavor going on. But I think I'm just gonna leave it here. The last thing that I wanna add in is just a little bit of lemon juice. And we're just gonna do a tablespoon of this, or maybe 2 tablespoons of this as well. Oh, I like this consistency too. Why am I blowing this? This is not hot. It's hot. Like, it's spicy, but. Oh, the lemon juice just did something different to it. I like it. Okay. So now I just need to can or bottle this up. So back in 2020, when we were all sort of going through a collective crisis, I bought these, like, what I thought were ball canning lids on Amazon. Turned out to be like a knockoff of some type. And so I don't like risking, you know, unreputable canning lids when I'm actually doing canning projects. So for the most part, I like to use these when I know that I'm just going to be refrigerating or gifting these items to like friends and family. And I do plan to gift some of this hot sauce, and so I am just going to use these lids and obviously label them, but they just are, you know, your typical canning lids. But yeah, like I said, I'll be refrigerating this and gifting some to like other friends and family that also enjoy spicy things. So here's our beautiful Sugar Rush Cream fermented hot sauce. All right, you guys, so the next thing that I have here are all of these beautiful heirloom tomatoes that I grew out in the garden this year, and I was really racking my brain for how I can use these to where like all of their beautiful color can like really shine, because I mean they're just too beautiful to like blend up in sauce or anything like that, or even put in a soup. So bruschetta is what I'm going for with this recipe. I hope to be able to use for hosting, like, you know, make a little toast with like some bruschetta on the top, or I can always make some like bruschetta chicken with pasta, henny. So the first thing that I need to do to get this going is I need to go on ahead and prepare all of my garlic. We're going to chop up the tomatoes and then get the brine started, and I'll bring you guys back in for that process. All right, so now let's go ahead and get everything else ready. I just realized my my smoke alarm battery just started beeping. So if you hear that, I promise y'all we change our batteries around here. This ain't no normal this ain't no normal thing. But my husband's a fireman, so he definitely makes sure that he changes those. It's not typical black household stuff going on over here. If you know, you know. Anyway, so the recipe actually calls for two tablespoons of both basil and oregano, but both dried. I do not have dried basil on hand right now. I do have dried oregano, which this may not be enough for 2 tablespoons, I believe it was. Hold on, let me double check my recipe. Let's see. Yeah, 2 tablespoons of each herbs. So I'm going to prepare those now. It also calls for 1 cup of dry white wine. I don't have that. I am going to swap that out for white vinegar, and I just hope and pray that the taste is good enough. So yeah, let's just go on ahead and put everything together. All right, so while I have the tomatoes kind of draining off some of the liquid, because the recipe actually calls for plum tomatoes, that's not what I had on hand, but I had enough tomatoes to make the 9 cups that it calls for. But let's talk about some of the other ingredients that I will be swapping out. So this is, I want to say the ball recipe, but I'm using somebody else's post off of Pinterest. Anywho, so it calls for 1 cup of dry white wine. I don't have that, so I will be using white vinegar. I don't know if that's okay or not. And then also it calls for white wine vinegar. I don't have white wine vinegar. I have red wine vinegar, and so that's what I'm going to use. And then of course the balsamic vinegar is all good, but as far as the herbs are concerned, both basil and oregano, I don't have dried, and that's what the recipe is calling for. I'm assuming to kind of cook out, or to not have any additional water content in it, so I will allow for this to cook a little bit longer. But other than that, everything else is pretty much the same. I don't know, I'll have to look at the dry white wine situation, because maybe I won't use any additional vinegar since we're using balsamic and white wine vinegar, or red wine vinegar. Let me see what I can substitute that for real quick. Let me see. Okay, so I did not find a substitution online, and this is the Ball website, so it's asking for the dry white wine. I'm about to use a little creativity. I have this IPA. It is a pale ale. So, and I feel like it's going to be a little dry as well. It's going to be bubbly, but we're going to see how it works. I'm assuming we just need some sort of alcohol. So I'm going to use a cup of this IPA. It's going to make for something a little interesting. You know, I think with the vinegars, I'll still be okay to can this, but I mean, sue me. I'm gonna break the rules a little bit. It is what it is. So let's crack this baby open. Like I said, this is more dry of a beer, so I feel like we'll be good. So let's go ahead, measure everything out, get everything in the pot, and start canning this stuff up. since the tomatoes were a little bit on the cooler side, I'm going to allow the water to warm up these jars again before I set the timer. All right, we'll go on ahead and set the timer for 20 minutes once this comes to a full boil. All right, so the final thing that I need to can and hopefully get done today, I'm pretty sure my daughter's going to be waking up from her nap soon, so this is going to be interrupted, but I wanted to give you guys a word of encouragement. This year I was really hoping to grow just like all the tomatoes as per usual, and I have just come to the realization that my garden is not nearly big enough for me to like supply myself with the amount of tomatoes that I would like to put away in canning, diced, jarred salsa, or not salsa, but salsa as well, sauce, etc. So I went to my local farm stand and I picked up a box of Romas. This was only about a $20 investment, and I had to spend very little time producing these. So do not feel discouraged if you feel like you want to start canning but you don't have a huge garden, or you just don't have the space to like really grow everything, or even if you just can't grow everything. A lot of farm stands nowadays are taking like SNAP benefits, EBT, etc., vouchers, and then also like, or maybe you can just save up your money for what you would normally spend to garden and like grow these things, and then just plan to add that to your food budget at the end of the gardening season, and going ahead and, you know, just buy a bunch of tomatoes. But do it at your local farm stand, because it's going to be a lot less expensive than trying to go to the store or something like that. And then normally this stuff is made more organically. This is about half of what I've purchased. I picked up a full peck, I believe is what it's called. And the other half is in the freezer for me to create sauce later on. But for these guys, I will be dicing up and cold packing into jars. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. Don't be discouraged if you see these videos or you see other gardeners that are just growing oogobs, tons of freaking tomatoes, etc. Don't feel like you're constantly playing the catch-up game, because I can definitely become a victim to that mindset, just constantly comparing myself, and that's not what this is about. It is about being in your own lane and like learning and growing as you grow. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. So I will probably be doing this off camera. I have done a video before on how I cold pack tomatoes before. It's not hard at all. You take a jar, you cut these up, you put them in there with some salt and some lemon, and boom bam, like some water, fill them all the way up, and you have diced tomatoes to add into all of your recipes. So at this point, this guy still has another 15 minutes, so I will be back to show you what that looks like when it's ready. We got tomato soup. Sometimes you can't help but to laugh at yourself. I'm assuming the beer idea was not a good one. 2 out of the 5 pints here survived. I'm a little salty because these were some beautiful tomatoes, you guys. But you win some, you lose some. So, ooh. This one busted at the beginning, and I caught it and I grabbed it out with the prayer that the rest of them would hold on tight. But you could see I have tomato soup Oh, this one is still pretty hot. This one just cracked at the bottom there. And I don't know, maybe if it was the pressure in the jars from the beer instead of the wine, or if it was that the tomatoes were not up to room temperature enough. I don't know, but either way it goes, I'm keeping my eye on the prize. We got 2 out of the 5, so at least not all is lost. And if I'm being honest with you, I'm halfway tempted to empty the contents of these 2 jars and freeze them and call it a dang day. Obviously everything that's floating around in there, I mean, the good thing is that was sterilized water because it had been boiling for a while. Might be runny. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking that's exactly what I'm going to do. But then again, it's a risk because glass, duh. Glass and food, that don't match. I don't know. Oh, you guys, I'm salty. I am so saddened by this because I just knew, I was like, yeah, like that's a good idea, right? Totally not thinking about the pressure that it could put in the jars. And I'm honestly feeling like that has to be the reason why these guys busted, because everything else was measured to a T. I made sure that the jars were nice and warm, the tomatoes were at room temperature, allowed them to warm up before I fully submerged them. But I think it has to be the pressure from the carbonation in the beer. Yeah, won't be doing that again. But we tried a little something today. Not completely mad, but I am a little salty. So let me just show you our 2 surviving jars here. I mean, it's so beautiful. It really is. So beautiful. You be gentle because they might try to explode on me. Let's pray that doesn't happen. Oh, almost lost my mind just now because I felt dripping and I'm like, no, please don't tell me that you didn't make it too. So yeah, they're gorgeous. I mean, the 2 that survived, I'm grateful for. As for the other 3, it is what it is. I'm gonna wrap this video up because I am feeling some defeat. I'm salty. I'm real salty. So, players mess up too. It's fine. Y'all still gonna see the light of this video, and I ain't mad. I got a grumpy 2-year-old, so I'm gonna tend to her and I'm gonna cool off. What'd you say? And a disgruntled dog. Look, everybody ganging up on me at once. I need a hug. Anyways, I thank you all so much for stopping by today. Okay, 1 minute, 1 moment. I'm coming. Okay. Okay. I thank you all so much for stopping by today, and I wish you all health, wealth, and prosperity. And until the next time, hopefully we'll get a win. But peace out. What are you doing? Don't nobody want to see your tongue, silly. Say peace.